Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I have a very special treat for you guys today. I have my friend Nicole Santer, relationship coach, and she's got some really great stuff for us. As always, if you're hopping on live, feel free to ask your questions. Tell us where you're hopping in from, all of that good stuff. If you're catching the replay, just click replay. Also, good morning, Julie. We've already got somebody hopping in bright and early. Also, we're going to cover some really great stuff today. I've been really excited to host Nicole on this show. Not only is she like one of my Biz Besties, and I actually get to see her this weekend. Yay! Well, aside all that excitement, but she addresses something that is so real, and it's so relevant. I see it a lot in my ladies who come for, start in MLM, but it's also relevant in other types of businesses where maybe the business itself is causing a rift in your relationship, or maybe your spouse is unsupportive. The MLM that Nicole and I both belong to, the top coach of the country, her husband originally was unsupportive as well. Luckily, he was man enough to later eat his words and say, "She told me so," but that's not always the case. So I want to kick it off and have Nicole, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, where you came from, how you got started, and then we'll dive into the good stuff.
Perfect. That sounds great. Well, I kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship totally by accident. I never actually anticipated even doing this. I had my second child, and I decided that I needed to start taking care of myself. So I stumbled into a health and fitness coaching role, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I had a corporate job that I loved, that I never anticipated leaving or going and doing anything different. But then I just got bit by this bug of the idea of wanting more and doing more and empowering other women. And it just kind of took off from there. So I started as, like I said, a health and fitness coach. And then it was getting to a point where I liked what I did, but I felt this calling for doing more. And it kind of morphed into branching out and doing my own thing with independent coaching.
I can kind of relate to that. Hi, Carrie. Okay, well, that's great. So now, obviously, people kind of have a little gist, and we're going to get into all like the meat and potatoes and all the juicy stuff in just a minute. But as you got started initially, and then even during your transition, tell us a little bit about some of the fears you had, some of the self-doubt that, inevitably creeps in, and how you kind of overcame some of that stuff, whether it was just stuff that you had in your head, stuff that was going on in your household, or stuff that was coming like from outside people.
Well, I think I had all three of those things come up as doubts and fears. I remember with having a business, posting online, my sister was like, "Why are you posting all the time? What is this thing you're doing? You're like filling up my news feed." So that kind of got me doubting what I was doing and if this was the right thing. And then I actually had family members who would unfriend me, and I was like, "Come on, why?" So you start to think, am I on the right track, and is this what I really want to be doing? But it always got back to what's my purpose? What do I want to accomplish? And then I was able to push past those external judgment and fears. And then eventually they saw the changes, the positive changes that were happening in me. And then they got on board and started supporting me.
Right.
The real legitimate things that popped up was how much time I was spending in my business. And I know you guys can probably all relate, and you can too, Amie, but when you're starting something new, I'm the kind of person, I dive right in, both feet, and I'm like, let's do this. We're going to make this happen. But I was spending so much time and effort that I started neglecting other areas of my life. And it was actually to a point in December of 2016 that my husband and I were at a point where we were talking about getting divorced. I was spending so much time online. He was going to bed alone every single night, and I'd be slaving away on my laptop, doing what I thought I had to do to hustle to chase my goals and my dreams. And it was like this huge divide, and resentment started. And it made me kind of question, is this what I want to be doing? Or should I do something different? Or should I just quit altogether? So it was a huge thing for us. And it all happened, unfortunately, when we were on vacation in Cancun.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah. And I think too, I mean, even back when I was doing health coaching and trying to grow that side, you know, like grow my team and whatever. And I still hear it a little bit now, you know, like I had one person who was in my downline at the time, and her husband was just completely unsupportive of every single aspect of the business, from the eating healthy, the working out, everything, because she also had a day job. And he was just like, no, I don't want you doing those things on like our family time. And it was, you know, even though she had, at first he would kind of like let it slide or whatever, but then it was also like, oh, and you're talking to who online? Like, I don't want you talking to all these strange men, or I don't want you talking to all these strange people, and I don't want you doing all these things. And she ended up quitting. Like, wow. She quit working out. She quit everything. And, you know, like, for me, it makes me kind of sad that, you know, she was doing really well. She had started losing her weight, like gaining some strength back, and she was really feeling like, you know, working on her personal development and feeling kind of empowered. And then that just kind of hit her out of nowhere. And she was just like, yeah, I just can't, you know, I was just like, So I bring up that story because it's real. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what program you're promoting. There's still a certain amount of work that goes into things behind the scenes. Even, you know, I always say, like, there's a front office and a back office. You know, the front office is that red Corvette that you see and everybody's all attracted to it. And it's all that nice and shiny stuff that we post online, and, you know, our before and after pictures and all those success stories and whatever, and all those testimonials. But the back end is the engine, you know, and you have to take care of it. And you have to treat it well in order for it to be that high performance machine, you know, and perform like a Corvette and not, you know, a 1962 Volkswagen Bug, you know. So there's a difference. And it's funny. I'm going to share, you guys, I have to share a story about Nicole. When we first met, Nicole posted something in a group that she's like, I'm no longer available for hustle. And I was like, what is she talking about? She's not going to hustle anymore. What does she mean? But here we are. She's like, I'm just not available to hustle anymore. She's like, I want to come from a place of alignment. I want to come from a place of flow. I want my business to, you know, be fun and enjoyable and easy. And she did that, you guys. And that's something I think that both she and I have learned over time. And, you know, it hits you at different points of your life. It hits you at different points of your business that, you know, because you're trained, it's instilled in you from the day you get your first job that you've got to hustle. You've got to do it. There's a sense of urgency. You've got to do it right the first time, and you've got to do it now, and you've got to do it quickly, because if you don't, somebody else will. So, you know, I had that, like, that masculine thing so, like, ingrained in my brain that I was like, what is she doing? It's self-sabotage. Like, oh no. And then I thought about it. And it took me, I don't know, it took me 3 months for it to really soak in what she was saying, that, yeah, it doesn't have to always be that, like, grind, that hustle. Like, you can hop on live while you're, you know, doing anything and share your message. And it usually comes across better because you're so excited at that moment. If you just pick up the phone at that moment, get it out in 5 or 10 minutes, then there's no hustle in that. You know, there's no hustle in sharing your message when you're excited about it. So, you know, I've been talking a lot about being more in flow and more in alignment and stuff lately, but I have to give some of that credit to Nicole, because she's the first person that I heard say, like, I'm done hustling. And she's, you know, she's on fire with her business right now. So I have to, I had to mention that, Nicole. I hope you don't mind.
No problem. You know what? It's funny. I don't remember posting that, but it's not something that you just make the decision and then it's done. It's something you consciously have to work on a regular basis, because I'll catch myself kind of like spinning and spiraling and thinking, oh, I should do more. I should do this. But then I always bring it back to, okay, well, what do I want to do? What's going to light me up and excite me? And I think that's what we need in our business at all times, so that it's fun and enjoyable and it doesn't feel like work. But then also not having the guilt, and this is something that I've really focused on, is shutting down, spending time with your family and your friends and your husband, whatever lights you up, so that you can come back to work and do your thing and be energized and bring that passion into your business and essentially into your audience too.
Right, because how you're feeling about yourself, it like kind of subconsciously, I guess, if you will, comes out. Like, so if you're feeling like really down on yourself, or, you know, like, even like for myself, I was like, I didn't do, and it's all totally my fault. Like, I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do to get back to like my pre-baby weight. I just wasn't craving working out. I didn't want to do a workout at home. And I just wasn't doing what I knew I needed to do. So I was like kind of beating myself up over it. Mm-hmm. But finally, that I think projected into my energy, into my business, into like everything else that I was doing. So once I started, and I know that Nicole's got a series on self-care, but once I started doing more self-care and started making those commitments, I felt better about myself, and my energy and my vibration was like just naturally higher. And all that makes such a difference. But I feel like I've gotten us a little off topic.
I just want to say one thing on that, Amie. Sorry to interrupt, but it's when you say that, it's all interconnected. Mm-hmm. Because like how you feel about your health and your body and your mindset and your relationship, it spills into your business. So if you're happy in one area, it's going to affect you in everything else that you try and do and accomplish. So good for you for focusing on yourself and your self-care.
Yes, we're going to do a workout today at 3:30, and it's a funny thing because it's like I've taken into bar method, which is like the hardest thing I've ever done. And I made a 12-month commitment to it, so now I can't back out, right? And kind of like hiring a business coach. Like if you sign up for get some skin in the game, then you have to really follow through and not just let the emails stack up. So, but today I get to take the kids, and they're going to be part of the workout. They're going to be my weights. So we're going to see how that goes, because it might be rather interesting. But
it'll be awesome.
But it's neat. So it's a way that I can still do all of that. Okay, we've got a few people hopped on. I see. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Erin. Carrie says, hi, Amie and Nicole. Julie looks like she's still here. Awesome, you guys. Feel free to start posting any of your questions that you guys have. Tell us where you're watching from. Nicole's coming to us from Canada, you guys. So we've got an international show now. So, so when you were like, what was finally like your breaking point? Like when you finally decided, I've got to do something different. Like I've got to overcome some of these obstacles, because you'd, kind of everything that you'd done had led you up to the point where you had, been spending all this excessive amount of time on your business, which we're all, I think, guilty of. Mm-hmm. And, ultimately it was becoming detrimental to your relationship with your husband. Mm-hmm. Tell us kind of what happened there a little bit. Like for you to just be like, okay, well, we're not going to give up. We're going to go for this. And how right now you guys have that pretty much a picture perfect marriage, and you guys have really put everything back together in such a way that, it's like brag worthy,
Well, thank you. So like I said, and I don't want to say that it was because of my business that we were in this place, because we had problems that we never really dealt with for a long time, but they just compounded and were exacerbated when I was focusing so much on my business. Because essentially what I would do, bury my head in the sand and just work, rather than deal with the issue that literally was staring me right in the face. And he didn't bring it up and didn't talk about it. So like I said, it was finally, we went to Cancun. We were away on vacation without our kids for the first time in like a year. And then we were with my sister and some of her friends. And you would think we would have this amazing time, but it was like we woke up one morning when we were there. We didn't have all the life distractions. And it was like we were strangers. And I was like, how did we get to this point? And I don't even remember, to be honest, how the conversation started. But I'm just like, I'm not happy. And he's like, you know what? I'm not either. And so we hashed a lot of stuff out. I needed space. Luckily, I could go on the beach and just lay in the sun and kind of process some of it. But we ultimately figured out I wasn't willing to settle. I didn't want to just have this ho-hum relationship where we were living like roommates. I wanted more. I wanted a true partner. And my husband's an amazing father. That was never the issue. But we lost that connection. We lost what we had when we first got together as a couple. So we made some conscious decisions that we were going to invest in our relationship. We were going to invest time. I did a lot of PD work around how we can focus on improving. He actually found some really good podcasts that I can share with you guys as well that were really helpful. And we made significant changes. We have regular date nights. We have sex regularly. I don't know. I talk to so many women and they can't even remember the last time they were intimate with their husband. Like, it's crazy. It blows my mind. We talk about it in my community all the time. But we made these changes and they weren't significant and earth-shattering, but like quality time together, truly talking, connecting, putting down our phones and having time together made a huge change. And we're coming up to our 10-year wedding anniversary in May. And I can honestly say that I love my husband more now than we first got together and when we first got married. And it have a true partnership and connection. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I want every single person to not settle for, just because what they have. Put the effort in to get what you truly want and you desire and you're worthy of, because we can all have that.
Agreed. I absolutely agree. And I think a lot of it too is, and this goes with anything. It goes with like, if you're jammed up in your business, if you're jammed up at your job, if you're jammed up in your relationship, whether it's with your husband or an in-law or a sibling or whatever, is the first thing, and I know that you talk about this a little bit, is looking inward, looking at yourself and really being honest, like, what role do I play in this? Why is my business not flourishing? Why is this relationship fizzling out? Like, have I put forth enough effort? Did I say something wrong that maybe I owe somebody an apology for, or whatever it is? I mean, the sky's the limit because everything is so, unique with each person. Mm-hmm. But for me, just in general, like, that's one thing, that I feel so strongly about is, self-reflection. And I think that a lot of people, that's something that I first originally learned when I started doing like personal development. I didn't do personal development because I needed, self-help, as a lot of people think that, personal development is. It's not you're not getting a self-help book per se, but it does help yourself a lot.
It helps you
grow. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I was able to do, is kind of like really like look inward and be like, oh, well, maybe I was being an a-hole in that situation and maybe I should say I'm sorry, or, not be stuck as a victim or whatever. There's so many different angles to it, but I really do feel like that's the first step. I mean, that, and then obviously being able to, start the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it comes down to a couple of key things, is getting honest with yourself with what you actually really want. And often we're not truthful with ourselves about that. And I know I've been guilty about it. I was in my business. I've been like that with my relationship, and doing that inner work helps you uncover those true desires that you have.
Right.
And then expressing them to your partner or to the other person. Like you said, it's not like I talk a lot about our romantic relationships, but everything that I'm talking about can apply to all areas of your life. How you communicate in business with your clients, having boundaries with people, with what you will and you won't accept.
Right.
And holding yourself to those too.
No, I think that's so true. And, it's kind of like we talked about self-care, how that impacts you and, overflows into other things. That's kind of the same with this, is, like you self-reflect and that overflows into other things. When you self-reflect on one thing, then you're better able to do it on another thing and on another and on another, in different categories of your life with different relationships. Like you said, your clients, your business, your in-laws, whatever it is that you've got going on, your boss, if you still work a 9 to 5, mm-hmm. And really being able to just, get some of that stuff moving along, as far as getting it resolved. So I want to kind of dive into a little bit more about like your business. I know you have this really, really great free gift for us today. So kind of tell us a little bit more about it. Tell us about the Elevate community. And I'm going to post in the comments, you guys will already see there's a link, but I'll pop it up here on the screen for everybody. This is where you can get Nicole's amazing free gift that she's just about to tell us about.
All right. So we talked a little bit earlier about how we have this loss of connection with our romantic partners. Doesn't matter if it's your boyfriend, your husband, how long you've been together. But I really wanted women to be able to figure out what they want and connect with their partner more. So figuring out how to become the woman that you want to be, start having the sex that you desire, having those close, true conversations so that you're intimate and you're connected. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're spending time, quality time, putting down your phone, and truly talking to your partner, and you're in that place where you feel supported and encouraged, you better believe that your business is going to flourish. Right. I promise it will. And it doesn't matter if it's you're doing an MLM or if it's your corporate job, whatever it is, you will be able to have the support of your partner, feeling like he's in your corner, cheering you on. And you're going to be able to drop the resentment and the guilt and everything that comes through as far as having that shift or that rift if you're spending too much time in your business. So I like to talk about setting boundaries, having regular date nights, having regular sex. One of the things we talk about actually in the video series is scheduling sex. And I know it sounds funny, but it's so important to do. So if you guys want to check it out, it'll be a 3-part video series. Plus I included a reflective workbook as well, because like Amie, I believe so much in doing the inner work. And it's a chance for you to figure out like where you are with your relationship versus where you are in your ideal relationship. And one of the things I always like to say to my clients or the women that I work with is, are you living the kind of relationship that you would want your child to be in? Is this what you want to model for your kids? Right. And a lot of times the response is, oh, well, sometimes it's like, oh man, no, or damn, I got to do something to improve this. So think about being that role model that you would want. Are you living how you want your kids to show up and live with the person that they're going to choose to be with in the future? So I'm so excited. And then, yeah, as Amie mentioned, I also have a community. It's called Elevate, and it's for women who want to be empowered to rise up and live the life that they want. You're done settling and you're ready for more. Like I said, we talk relationships, sex. This week, we're actually doing a series on self-care and how that's so important with everything else in your life, including relationship. We'll get into, I have so many good ideas to talk about money, how to have difficult conversations. So if you guys want to jump in and join, I love it. I'm passionate about it. And I love showing up and sharing. We do videos just like this. And Amie's one of the members in the group, as well as so many other amazing women, many who are entrepreneurs as well. So love to have you guys join if you like.
And I don't think, I mean, you don't close it off to only entrepreneurs. It's all women, right?
Yeah, it is. I was originally thinking about just entrepreneurs, but really you can be a professional woman and have these same challenges, because I had them. I still work in a full-time Monday to Friday corporate job as well as my business. And everything relates to all types of people. We have women who are stay-at-home moms that are thinking about starting a business. So it's open to anyone, as long as you're a cool, amazing person. That's the only criteria, and women only.
The other thing that I feel called to mention this is, obviously, like, I always try to support people with leading with confidence. And one of the things that you just said about, having your partner in your corner and really going into things feeling supported and, and empowered and lifted up and lit up and all these things, that just having those relationships like dialed in and in place and feeling that love and support and encouragement and empowerment, whether you're part of a community or you've just got, like, Nicole said, your partner in your corner, like, yeah, babe, you can do this. That instantly boosts your confidence. Instantly, like, knowing that somebody is there for you, like, yes, I believe in you, that instantly boosts your confidence. And when you lead with confidence, your business it thrives, there's this saying, like, confidence sells, right? Because people then are magnetized to you, and it creates, I wish that I would have thought of this like saying myself, but I didn't. It creates that I'll have what she's having effect. You know what I mean? Like, so when you're in this really great relationship and people see you, like holding hands and, being out on date night and doing all these things, other people see that and they're like, yeah, I want to do those things. I want to go on more date nights. I want to go to this festival and I want to go do fun things like that. And I want to go on vacation and like all these things. So it creates that kind of like a ripple effect in your life, if you will, which I mean, we've been kind of talking about that throughout the whole video how one thing leads to another. Mm-hmm. But I really feel like when you start with having, your relationship, your important relationships in order, then that is like, you're able to really kickstart everything else coming from a place of love, coming from a place of confidence, not worrying about like, what if I do this and my husband gets upset because, some guy commented on my thread that I have no idea who it is, or anything like that. Like it could be anything, because like I said, everybody's situation is so unique. But that was something that I just like, it came to me like, yeah, if you've got your husband or, partner, wife, spouse, whatever in your corner, mm-hmm. then you're already you're setting yourself up instantly, to succeed.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I think so much of it is, I know when I first started my business, my husband saw me changing and he thought that I was going to leave him, or that it meant that I wasn't happy with him, or that there were some problems. And I mean, we found out down the road that yes, there were problems, but that wasn't my reason or rationale. So bringing our partners into our business and sharing what we're doing and having someone, because being an entrepreneur is hard. Right? It's like everyone's probably seen that roller coaster picture that happens on the daily. Some mornings you wake up and you're like, I can crush it. I'm amazing. And then you're like, oh man. But having that person who can pick you up and say, yes, I believe in you. I know you can do this, is just, it's like an instant pick me up. And like you said, builds your confidence and pushes those fears aside. I had that with my husband this morning, actually. I was doing up something for a new program that I'm launching. And he's like, oh, wow, this looks amazing. This is so good. I'm so proud of you. I was like, oh, what a great way to start the day.
Absolutely.
And I know in the past when our relationship was on the rocks, I wouldn't have sent it to him. Two, he wouldn't even have looked at it. And I wouldn't have gotten that kind of encouragement and feedback back. So
I'm like, yeah, great.
Exactly. Yeah. Why are you doing this? Yeah.
No, that's it. And that's just it, it's like, a lot of people, and granted, not every female entrepreneur or man or whatever is in a relationship, and that's okay. But you're in a relationship with somebody who you care about. So that's why I kind of, picked up like, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, an in-law, if that's relevant, in your situation. Like some of these things, can affect you, and even down to the relationships and the boundaries that you have with your clients, which is a whole that we could go into.
That would be a whole other show.
Yeah, that we could keep going on. But I mean, one of the reasons that I was so excited to host Nicole, like we've had this plan for several months, and I've been super excited about it ever since, is because this is real life stuff, you guys. Like, but it's all part of the package. It's all part of it, this part of life. Having relationships and maintaining relationships is part of life. And a lot of times we see that, people don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to get off their phone to sit down and have the hard conversations. They don't even know how to start the hard conversations sometimes. And so I felt like, because Nicole actually teaches that, she has, and I don't remember what series it is or what, but she has something, I don't remember when you taught that, but she teaches about, this is some of the things that you can do to initiate that hard conversation, regardless of what it's about. And, sometimes it's like I used to say, the hardest part about working out is going to the gym. Because once you get there, then you're like, oh yeah, okay. It's just, sometimes when it's like after work, you're like, I gotta go to the gym today. Like, I could drive right past it. That's kind of a lot of, the same with having those hard conversations. Like, I know I need to talk to this person about this thing because it's super important, but I don't like confrontation, or I'm afraid how they're going to react, or whatever.
I've tried in the past and it hasn't gone well, or you don't want it to end up in a big fight or argument.
Right. Exactly. So Nicole teaches about that too. So if you guys are jammed up in any type of relationship stuff, you're not quite sure, definitely pick up this Sexy Goddess series that she's given to us, which is amazing because it's typically a paid program. So that's super, super generous of her, you guys. And then hop into the Elevate community and, feel it out, ask your questions, like there's no judgment. It's a totally safe space. I've seen some crazy questions and they make me smile. So I think that's great. but yeah, hop in over there. And I mean, what's the worst that'll happen? Your relationship improves some? I mean,
because I feel like a lot of people just don't actually talk about this as an issue or a concern. So,
right. And I feel like now, like, you know, like in 1950, you lived in the same community as your family. You lived like down, you know, 2 blocks away from your sister and around the corner from your best friend, and your mom and dad lived in your same town and your in-laws lived in your same town. I feel like a lot of that's lost now, that, you know, it takes a village thing, because everybody lives everywhere. You know, everybody's so like spread apart. Like I live 1,000 miles away from my parents, and, you know, my in-laws live in Canada, so they live in a completely different country. And so sometimes, you know, those relationships can be a little bit harder to manage, and the support that you need, like immediately around you, that community feel, is sometimes lost if you don't have a good like community base, you know, with your friends and the family that you make up, right? So so being part of a community who actually talks about these things, you know, like, because sometimes, like, if you don't I'm trying to think how I want to actually say this to get my actual thought out. Sometimes just having somebody that gets what you're going through or understands what it is that you're talking about because they've been there, it makes it easier for you to open up and get some of that advice, whether it's in your business and you talk to your business coach about it, or you talk to a relationship coach about it, or you talk in like a community like what Nicole has about, you know, I have this different situation going on, and, you know, what would you ladies do about it? I mean, I know we've talked about all kinds of different stuff in there, but it's all real life stuff. It's all like legitimate stuff that probably most all of us have gone through. So my point is that's your village, that's your community, that's the place where you can go and get some of those, you know, more intimate type of questions. And not every question is about sex, but you get those like intimate types of questions answered honestly from a really unbiased perspective. I mean,
well, and I find too that sometimes people don't want to open up to their friends or their family and admit there's a problem in their relationship. I mean, my family had no idea. My father-in-law actually talked to me on Boxing Day. He's like, "Oh, I had no idea you guys were thinking about getting a divorce," until I put it on social media. And so, like, we tend to hide things from the people in our lives, but it's almost like when you're somewhat anonymous in a group of other people who are having the same struggles and issues and concerns as you, that you're able to open up more than you would when you have that sense of support and almost being anonymous, if that makes sense.
But it's also a neat place where you can share some wins, like, you know, like, hey, we've implemented regular date night again, or right now the topic in your community is self-care. And so I'm like in there like, yeah, I'm going to the bar method studio. I'm implementing my self-care. I got a haircut last week, you know, like that was something I was super excited about. Whereas like some people be like, so what? Like, who cares? But the people in that community totally understood, like, yeah, the struggle is real. Like, I finally got a haircut. Like,
being surrounded by like-minded people is so empowering and uplifting. And that's why I love being part of the coaching program with you, Amie, too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so I've actually never met Nicole in person, so I'm super excited to meet her this weekend. But we've unofficially met taking programs together before. Nicole found this random post from like over a year ago, and we still at that point had no idea who each other was. And now like we've got this really close knit of girls, and we're all like these like business besties, and it really is like it's a nice thing to, you know, that's a different kind of relationship type of thing. Like we go in there and we talk about like business relationships, and I mean we talk about everything in that group, but
yeah.
I mean it's really so important, I think, especially if you're starting a business, because at first it can seem so lonely. Like it can seem like nobody gets it, nobody understands, but the truth is just the opposite. There's this whole community of people, whether you're part of an MLM or you're starting your own business, but there's this whole community of women out there who get it, who do it, who you know, they've tried that hustle, they're in the flow, whatever it is, they get it. They get that it's different to show up online or to work in a virtual space with other people than it is to show up on, you know, like a 9-to-5 job. It's just a whole different, criteria altogether to do that. So having somebody who gets it, who even gets what you do to begin with, like, because some people are like, I don't understand what you even do, but that's okay. They don't have to understand. The people who want to work with you and the people who, who get it, they're the people who make up that village. And so, yeah, I feel like that's so super important to maintain these relationships, right? And so I'm super excited. I get to hang out with Nicole all weekend, and I'm super excited that we finally got to our day where we get to do this interview, because you guys, it really is important. If there's a relationship, especially if it's like holding you back from your true desires, whether that's starting a business or whatever it is, I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice by, stuffing it under the rug, and that's why I really feel like there's so much value in what Nicole teaches us, because she helps you bring those things to light, lets you get it off your chest and really move forward with, with whatever the issue is and overcoming it, regardless of what the end result is, one way or the other, at least it's been resolved. So that's all I have, and I'm so excited. We're just about out of time. Actually, we ran a little bit over, so I hope I'm not keeping you from something super important. But yes, you guys definitely be sure to click that link and get in on that 3-day series. Like I said, oh, hold on. We've got a comment over here. Just a sec. There we go. Nicole, do you have a program you recommend doing with your partner?
You know what? I always get crazy ideas when I'm either in the shower or blow drying my hair. And this morning, literally, I was blow drying my hair and thinking I almost want to do something either like calls or a program. I don't have anything yet, Carrie, but stay tuned. It will be coming, because we can do the changes, but we want to encourage our partners to be involved with them. So I have a feeling that that's going to happen. I kind of want to get my husband involved too, so we can have his perspective, but I haven't asked him about that yet. So we'll see. But either we could probably start with some kind of a call, but reach out, Carrie, and we'll figure something out. Yeah,
definitely, Carrie. Carrie may already be in your group.
She is, yeah. We've actually had a call, and she's been able to make some changes. So
awesome. Carrie's excellent. I love her. Okay. Anybody else, if you have any questions left, feel free to post those here. If not, then we will wrap up, and I'll let Miss Nicole get to packing so she can come visit me tomorrow. But that, I think, you guys, if there's anything you've got going on, even if you're a little bit intimidated about it, I mean, let's face it, sometimes, when we've got serious issues or relationship issues, again, whether it's a romantic partner or somebody else in our lives, we sometimes put it off because we don't really want to face the problem. But Nicole gives some really good advice on how to effectively yet gently approach the issue and really just have the tough conversations when they're needed, and how to, so it's not all like negative stuff, right? But how to keep the good things going too. So make sure you check that out. Hop into the Elevate community. I'm sure that we can talk Nicole into posting the link for that in the comments after the video as well.
Sure, I will do that. And I can check back if there's any other questions that come up from the replay as well. So
yeah. So if you're catching the replay again, click replay, post your questions below, and we will get back to you on those. But I think that's everything. So
perfect.
We will
thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it, Amie. I know we've been talking about this for ages. So
yes, thank you so much.